Hi there.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
A
Good
thousand
evening.
couples, hey. We've got so much questions for you.
That's 2,000 people.
Now, before we talk about your matchmaking service, I've read in your interviews that you're in a mission to help set up 1 million marriages. So what's the idea behind that?
Well, as a business owner who has been honing her craft for almost 2 decades now, I feel that I would like to embrace a mission that goes beyond the survival of my business. Usually topmost on entrepreneurs' minds are revenue generation, business expansion, but I thought it would be much better to move from success to significance. And what's better than being front and center in bringing 1 million marriages together?
All right, absolutely. That is a great target to set. Now, tell us a little bit about Jumpa itself.
Jumpa was created to help Muslim singles in Southeast Asia connect, because there is a very specific requirement that Muslims would require when it comes to finding their life partner. And these are not easily met by the regular dating apps, right? Because we have our own unique criteria, unique requirement. So I thought that catering to this niche is significant and important for me, because I'm living in Southeast Asia.
Yep.
And this is where I feel that I bring the most value to the singles living in this region.
Right. So when did you develop Jumpa, and what is your core team behind this? Did you come up with this idea yourself, or was this kind of a brainstorm that you came up with this? Tell us a little bit about its development.
Yeah, I think Date High Flyers is the one that spurred everything, because Date High Flyers is an offline matchmaking app. It is a personalized app,
Okay.
or personalized service rather. And a lot of my clients, especially the Muslim singles, tell me how difficult it is for them to find their potential life partner, whether online or offline.
Right.
So gave me the idea that this is a market that has been severely underserved by the regular dating apps. And so it sparked the interest as well as the idea for me to start something catering for the singles in the Muslim singles in Southeast Asia. But the core business has always been Date High Flyers. That's where I have honed more than 2 decades, or almost 2 decades of experienced matchmaking singles in Singapore as well as around the region.
I like that. Experienced matchmaking singles. Like that. Now, Anisa, how does it work to, match people from other countries? Is it that hard?
Not at all. Because pre-pandemic, I cater to professionals, business owners, and high net worth individuals who have marriage in mind.
Right.
So pre-pandemic, traveling is very regular. And my clients from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from Philippines, even as far as Qatar, fly to Singapore to meet the candidates whom I have identified for them. So it's not too far when it comes to love, right? You will move mountains when it comes to finding your potential life partner.
Right.
So many of these clients have always been high flyers, and they come to Singapore to meet their partners. Or we also have our clients who are jet setters. And so they also visit countries around the region, and we help them meet people who are residing overseas by arranging the logistics and making arrangements here from Singapore.
Now, Anisa, I want to delve further into Jumpa. So what are the distinct features that differentiates it than the general dating app like Tinder, Bumble, or Coffee Meets Bagel? What makes Jumpa
Wow, you know a
unique?
lot of dating apps
I
there.
know some of
Tirza.
them.
Well, for one, you will be able to find your community, right? The Muslim community there. And we have ensured that our app remains ethical, and there's huge transparency when it comes to meeting or choosing your life partner. So safety is always going to be very, very important in our app. And we, based on what I have understood from my clients who have experience or have gone through negative experiences online, they want to ensure that we can authenticate and ensure safety and security are topmost in our app. So that's something that we have painstakingly included and integrated in our app.
So, Anisa, can you take us through it from, let's say, right from the start, someone's interested, they're a potential candidate to be registered for your app. What are the steps to take in order for them to get started?
So for date high flyers, our approach is always very personalized. We meet our clients face to face. The steps include, our client registering their interest on our website or through our WhatsApp messaging system. And they can fill up the registration online and they can indicate, what are their likes, their dislikes, the parameters in terms of age, in terms of ethnicity, religion, personality type of person, whether they were willing to also relocate, because that's something that is always discussed during the pairing session. So they can go online and register everything, and one of our matchmakers, or if you're lucky, myself, I will be the one doing the pre-qualifying in terms of understanding what you're looking for, and we will assess whether we can meet your requirements.
Okay.
And from there, we will extend an invitation for you to join us as a member if we feel that we can meet your requirements.
Right, Dirzai is actually laughing right here, Anisa, just to let you know. I think he's really interested to do
He's the one that has at least had some experience with this, because a couple of us don't. By the way, I like how this works, because at least you know that all the clients have been gone through some sort of a
screening.
Screening, and there's been a process. I like that.
Now, Anisa, you did mention that you help many people from other countries. Now, do you have any specific challenges when it comes to different races or ethnic groups, maybe?
Ethnicities is one of the sensitive topics that my clients and I explore at the preliminary stage of our discussion. As we are an international matchmaking agency, our clients comprise people who are from multi-ethnic and multi-religious background. And since interracial marriages are more widely accepted these days, I think the challenge of pairing according to races has significantly reduced. Then there are others who are very particular about wanting to meet a partner who shares the same race or the same ethnicity. And so what we will do is to try to understand why this is important, or why this is such a critical requirement for them. And if we feel that the requirement is fair, is reasonable, and we have people that we can pair, or who we can pair with them immediately, then we will accept them as a member. But it has always been a disclaimer right at the beginning that we are not going to pair you for date high flyers in particular, because it's multi-ethnic and multi-religion. We have already indicated from the get-go that we are not just going to pair you according to your ethnicity, rather according to what we feel would make a good match in terms of finding a life partner that will go the distance with you.
Right, non-discriminatory at least. That's nice.
Yes.
Well, I want to talk about the timeline now. So you have a client, they've set up for the first interview. How long does it usually take for you to set them up for their first date?
Okay, if they're in Singapore, it's within the week.
Wow.
Because we are dealing with busy professionals, right? And so the challenge is not us. The challenge is the clients availing themselves for the date or for the meeting. So we are also dealing with business owners and professionals who are jet setters. So sometimes one party is available to meet, whereas the other party is busy traveling, or they are unavailable due to a work commitment. So we're dealing with a lot of time-starved individuals who do not have time on their side. So on our part, because we have more than 10,000 clients in our database, it is not that difficult for us to match anybody, but provided they meet the basic criteria, basic requirements, and once the profile is shared with them and they accept, we will set up the date or the meeting as quickly as possible.
All right, Anisa, what happens when a date doesn't go exactly as planned, and do you have a process of perhaps rematching them? How does that usually work?
Yeah, absolutely. We always try to manage the expectations from the get-go, right?
Okay.
Usually women would always want to meet just one man and they want to end up marrying the person, right, on the first date. So as a matchmaker, it is incumbent upon me to ensure that we manage the expectations right from the start. So some matches will go exceedingly well, splendidly well, and there are some matches who may be a little bit off, or they fall off the wayside. So what we do is we collect or gather feedback after every date to ensure that we understand what you went through, whether you had also committed some dating faux pas
Right.
when you are out on a date, to ensure that you do not repeat your mistakes.
Of
And we
course.
also try to ensure that you navigate away from some dating minefields, like being distracted on your phone, not being on time during the date, dressing shabbily when you are meeting somebody. So these are things that we also consider after every date to ensure that we can, not only do we fine tune the selection for you, but you also have to carry your weight.
Yes.
When it comes to being introduced to potential life partner. You have to play your part. The heavy lifting is done by both of us, not just myself as a matchmaker.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely
Of
agree with
course,
that.
well said. Now, you did mention that you've got over than 10,000 clients already, Anisa. So I'm really curious about your team. So how many people do you have in your team in Jumpa?
In Jumpa, Jumpa is separate from Date High Flyers.
Right.
Jumpa has its own tech team and its own customer support. Date High Flyers has 4 professional matchmakers and 4 other customer or client services support team.
Okay. So what is your? I'm sure you keep track of some of the data here. What is your approximate success rate? Would you say when it comes to matchmaking?
Depending on whether I match them or my staff match them.
Oh,
Right.
So if I'm front and center matchmaking my client,
Yes.
that's when the success rate goes up a little bit more. I have about 80 to 85% success rate. That means
Wow.
clients who are matched by me end up in a serious relationship, if not marriage. My staff have they have about 65 to 75% success rate.
Okay. So I like this. The success rate is really high. I like my chances there. Right. Um,
That's great.
So yeah, Anisa. So, say if someone wants to use your service, what steps do they need to go through, and how much are the fees? Can you explain that a bit to us?
Yeah, of course. So for Date High Flyers, the steps are what I have outlined earlier. They have to go to the website, datehighflyers.com, to register their details on our website. And one of our matchmakers will be contacting them almost within 24 hours, if not earlier than that, if it's during office hours. And then we have a 15-minute pre-qualifying call with you. And if you happen to be overseas, we will do that pre-qualifying call over Zoom. To ensure that we get to meet you face to face, right? Everything is authenticated and verified. So everything is personal and private. All the disclosure is kept confidential because we are dealing with very high-end professionals. And so after the pre-qualifying and understanding what are your needs, what are your requirements, what are the parameters that you would allow us to work within, then we will offer a face-to-face interview with you. And this time we go more in depth into the questions so that we can understand you better as a client, and so that we can also advocate for you when it comes to choosing potential life partners for you. So in the face-to-face interview, what we do is we ask questions pertaining to your family background. It always helps to know the kind of family that you grew up in.
of course.
And then we go into your academic history, whether you have studied locally or internationally, because it helps us understand your the depth of your horizon, your knowledge and your experience, right? And then because I also deal with people who are not just looking for marriage for the first time, I do deal with individuals who have been divorced or widowed in the past. So we go very, very deep into your relationship history. And if you have been married before, we try to understand what are some of the issues or challenges that you faced in your first marriage or in your previous relationship, so that we can draw lessons from those experiences and help you have a clearer understanding of what it takes to be in a relationship or in a long-term relationship, if not marriage, for the future.
Okay.
And finally, yeah, so then we go into your ideal partner, your idea of your ideal partner, and why do you want what you want? Because it is not just a matter of engaging a matchmaker that we get to dish out the man or the women that you're looking for, right? I think we go very specific into the values that you hold as an individual, because values are formed from young. And so, values relating to family, religion, ways of communication, how you handle conflicts. These are things that we would go very, very deep during our face-to-face meeting with you, so that we fully understand how we can be your wing woman or be your advocate when it comes to identifying the right partner for you.
Okay.
Now, Anisa, without naming any names, I'm sure it's very confidential for you to keep your clients private, but can you share with us the most unique matchmaking stories that you have throughout your years of doing this business?
Too many. Too many. There's more than 1,000 marriages, that have happened in the last 2 decades or so. But I would share with you something that a sweet story that has just happened during the pandemic. And who says that we can't find love even in lockdown, right? So what happened was, I had a repeat client, the man as well as the lady. That means they were married through me a few years ago, and they are now single again. So both of them came forward looking for me because I was a matchmaker who paired them in the past. It's just that it's unfortunate that their marriage couldn't sustain for the long haul. So the gentleman was 60 years old and the lady was about 49, almost 50. And so both came to me almost about the same time. It's like 1 week apart. And so when they joined, I already knew who they were and what they're looking for in a partner. So it was, to me, it was a walk in the park, having repeat clients. Unfortunately, they joined in March, and then the world went into a lockdown. Around that time, right? So I was at my loose ends, wits end rather. How am I supposed to match these individuals because there's no way that they can meet in person? So that got me thinking in terms of how I can arrange for them to meet online if they are game, or sorry, if virtually, if they are game. If they are game to meet virtually. So the gentleman would rather not meet virtually because he said that he couldn't get a haircut. Whereas the woman was more than happy to meet virtually over Zoom. So the gentleman suggested that, he court her or he meet her, just over the phone, just talking to her over the phone, the old-fashioned way of, saying hello in the morning, good morning, and good night, and they talk in between because he wanted to still have that element of surprise or, that mystery when it comes to courting a lady. And so they did that for about, 6-7 months. And in August, when everybody was allowed to finally meet in person, that was when I told him, quickly go get your haircut. And, so that I can arrange for you to meet this beautiful, wonderful lady face to face. And that was the first thing that he did when he could step out of his house. And so when he and the lady met in August, they knew each other already. It was just a matter of unraveling, right? The mystery. And that happened in August, and in December they got married.
Wow, what an amazing story. There you go. So you can totally get to know each other, and it's kind of nice that, they haven't actually met face to face because the mystery was still there and all that anticipation was building up.
Yep.
So great to hear that ended well. And I'm sure there's so many stories like that as well, right?
Of course. But I'm really curious, Anisa, about, the range of age from your clients. Do you have any, numbers to tell us for the
Absolutely.
range of age?
Okay, for date high flyers, because we are particularly the demographics are professionals, business owners, and high net worth individuals. So they start from mid 30s and they
Right.
go all the way to about mid 60s for ladies, and for the gentlemen they start for around the same age, mid 30s, and they go all the way to mid 70s. However, I do have ladies who are in their 20s and early 30s, and these are generally women who have come forward because their parents have also come to the mix and introduce my services to their
Oh,
children.
wow.
Oh, look
Okay.
at
And so,
that.
yeah, so you can say that the range is about from 30s to 60s.
Right. So, Anisa, you alluded to this a little bit earlier in regards to the pandemic, and that anecdote you shared with us certainly kind of highlights how difficult it is for people to actually meet these days. Now, these past 2.5 years, how much do you see the need for your services and services like yours, Date High Flyer, has increased, and how much more are people depending on it now that we are kind of living in a different world? We aren't just going out and hanging out, and if we do, we're all wearing masks, so we don't see each other anyway. So how much do you
Right.
think has that impacted your business and your matchmaking service?
I think matchmaking is evergreen, right? Whether it's a pandemic or not, we are always on the lookout for our love life, right? Especially if you're single. So the offline matchmaking service and date high flyers easily complement the online dating apps that are out there, but not every dating apps is relevant or is safe or is meeting the basic requirements of the singles who are out there. So there's never been a better time than now for my kind of services, both online as well as offline. But I feel that as more and more people, they start off online because it's the easiest way to meet lots and lots of different people.
Right.
But as they get more mature or as life deals with them in very different ways, whether they got divorced or they lost a life partner through death, they want that privacy. They want that discretion. They don't
Right.
want to be telling the whole world that they are out looking for a partner. And that's where we step up as offline matchmakers to ensure that their discretion and their confidentiality is never compromised when they use our service.
Right. Last but not least, Anisa, do you have any tips for those that are, on the fence and they've always wanted to try a matchmaking service? Any tips from you, perhaps?
Yeah, research, right? Research
Okay.
on the matchmaking agencies. I think there's no dearth of information out there. There's a lot of information that you can research. What kind of agencies or matchmakers that would suit your requirements? Not there's no one cookie cutter solution.
Right.
So see for yourself what are the offerings or what are the service offerings that meet your requirement. Do you want privacy, do you want discretion, or do you want to have easy access or fast access to as many singles as possible? That's entirely up to you, right? And for us, we are here to ensure that we can complement whatever services that you have, that you're currently trying even, because most of my clients have generally done the online route, and they tell me how difficult it is to sift through information and to ensure that authenticity is not compromised.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Anisa, for this more in-depth look into your matchmaking service.
Yes.
And if for all our viewers that are interested in doing a little bit more research, make sure you go to www.datehighflyers.com to find out more. Anisa, thank you so much for your time. Hey, one last question real quick. In your experience, do opposites really attract? I've always wanted to know.
I have a long answer for that, but generally no. I think
Okay.
what's important very quickly is that values have to be aligned, right? Your values, your vision of what a marriage is should be aligned. So it doesn't mean that if you're an outdoorsy person and she's more domesticated, that the two of you are going to have an instant chemistry.
Right,
I think
right.
the alignment of values are very, very important, and that's something that you have to ascertain from the get-go.
Right. I knew there wasn't going to be an easy answer to that. Thanks again, Anisa. We really do appreciate it. Good
Bye
luck.
now.
Take
Most
care.
welcome.
Have a
Thank you
great
for having
weekend.
me.